Hey guys, Kris here. In this video, I'm going to give you guys my opinion, my review on the Ford Mustang Mach-E GT. I've had this car for almost a week now, and I'm going to take you guys on the road, and we're going to talk a little bit about this car. But for you guys who are new here, or for you guys who haven't seen a video here in a while, I had knee surgery a little while back, so I'm not able to do the usual type of production I do here on the channel with, a lot of B-roll, with a lot of different camera angles. This is going to be more of a one take, and I'm going to try to, well, add as much B-roll as possible, but I am not as mobile as I used to be, so you'll have to bear with me a few more months while, well, I'm recovering, and then the quality will hopefully pick up. And also, if you are new here, I'm Kris. I have this channel dedicated to testing EVs. I do range tests, I do charging tests, I do reviews like this, and a whole bunch of different types of videos. So if you're new here, please check out the channel. And if you like this type of EV content, please be sure to subscribe to the channel and then hit that notification bell. And lastly, if you're excited about the Mustang Mach-E GT, please hit that like button. Thank you very much. Before I take you guys out on the road and tell you what the GT is like to drive, I'm going to give you guys some numbers, some stats, and some facts about this car. So this being the GT, it is the top model in the Mach-E range. It has dual electric motors, one in the front, one in the rear, meaning four-wheel drive, 487 horsepower in total, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 3.7 seconds, and has a net battery capacity of 88 kilowatt hours. And the WLTP rates this car at around 500 kilometers of range. The peak charging speed is 150 kilowatts, but this throttles after a few minutes. Doesn't seem there has been any software update to the charging curve on this car, so after a few minutes it drops to like 110, 112 kilowatts. And the last time I did a charging test on this battery pack here in the long range rear wheel drive and long range all wheel drive, same battery pack as here, I think it did 10 to 80% in like 38 or almost 40 minutes. So it's a slow charging car relatively, but it also has a very big battery pack. So this being the GT, it has almost everything as standard equipment. So you get a different body kit, you do get these Brembo brakes, 20-inch wheels, you get a different grille in front, and then you also get Magna Ride dampers, and then you get these GT seats, which are really cool, GT logos here and there. And it also has the Bang & Olufsen or B&O sound system as standard. So basically you get everything with this car, 360 camera, so it's fully spec'd. The only thing that's an option on this car is the panoramic sunroof and the cyber orange paint color. So here in Norway, this fully equipped without winter wheels is 658,000 kroners. That's about 66,000 euros, or around $70,000. So here, it's quite a very good price point, and yeah, it competes with like the Tesla Model Y. And I think this is a much better car in many ways and looks much better. So let's take this thing out on the road, and I'm going to tell you guys what I like and what I don't like. I think I want to start with what I do like about this car. And for you guys who have seen my videos before and my reviews and videos on the Mustang Mach-E, know that this is one of my favorite platforms at the moment when it comes to electric cars. I've said many times before that this is the best car in class. Since then, there are quite a few cars that have come to market that I may like better personally, but I think the all-wheel drive version, long range, and also the rear-wheel drive version, long range, are probably the best value for money and are the best balance of everything you need in a family vehicle. And a lot of that is true for this car. So first off, I love the exterior design of this car, especially in the cyber orange with these beautiful 20-inch wheels. I think this is probably, with the Volvo C40, the best looking small mid-size SUV electric at the moment now. It is a head turner, and this car, maybe because of its color, I don't know, but it's gotten a lot of attention. I've gotten thumbs up, I've gotten people like staring at it. I mean, more attention in this than my Porsche Taycan Cross Turismo, which is white and not a very common color here in Norway. And I think keep that thing clean all the time, so that's saying a lot. I do think this is a very good looking car. And then we have the interior also. Always been one of my favorite things about the Mach-E, because I think this is probably the nicest interior, alongside maybe the Volvo C40, XC40 again, when it comes to quality and build. And other than, a few cheap switchgear pieces like on the steering wheel and the gear selector and here and there, overall quality is very nice. It's very solid, And other switch gears, very nice, like the seat controls here and the memory settings for the seat are very high quality. That could have been easily in a much higher price car. You have the dashboard, which is really nice, and overall, yeah, much nicer than something you would get from the Volkswagen Group at the moment, even the Audi Q4 e-tron, in my opinion. And then we have the quietness of the cabin. Okay, given that this is on 20-inch wheels, there's a little bit more road noise than I've experienced earlier because the cars I've had have had 18-inch wheels, but still, it is a very quiet car and one of the quietest cars in this segment. And then we have the way it drives. So it is very sporty, this thing, and very capable. And it's also very comfortable. This having the Magnum ride dampers, it's a bit different to drive than the cars I've driven on traditional coilover springs. I'm going to get back to that a little bit later because it's not all well, unfortunately. And then we have the infotainment system, which is easy to use. I mean, this is big screen, and then you also have this center screen here for the driver display, which I do like a lot. It's clear, it's bright. I mean, you have all the information you need. And overall, it is roomy, and it's not the biggest in the class, but there's a lot of room and a lot of space in here. It's very practical. So there are a lot of things I like about this car, and also that big battery pack, giving it that, you know, immense range. Even though this is the sportiest version, it still gets 500 kilometers of range, but in the real world on the motorway, it's gonna get less. So I'm gonna link my motorway range test down below so you guys wanna find out how far this car can go on the motorway, because it's not quite 500 kilometers. And then we have, you know, the price point of this car. Imagine 658,000 kroners, fully equipped with this performance is quite impressive. This is a fast car, and also being the GT with that exterior body styling, it is a bit special. You know, it's not your normal, I don't know, ID3 GTX. It's a bit more special. So yeah, I do like this car. So it has a lot going for it. It's easy to use. It still has, you know, some traditional things like a volume knob. None of the switches are hard to use. I mean, the steering wheel controls for audio and cruise control are very simple. And yeah, it has a big frunk. The trunk is not the biggest. So, I mean, there are a lot of things I do like about this car, but there are also a few things I don't like, and that's what we're going to talk about next. One of the most annoying things about this car is that it bings and bongs at me a lot. So if you open the door, it bings, and you get a message, the door is open. And I'm like, I know, I pulled the lever to open the door. You don't have to tell me. And it's not like it just bings once. It keeps on going a bing, 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 bing. It is very annoying. And also, it bings if I have somebody in the rear seat. So when I have my daughter and I, you know, open the door, it's like somebody's in the back seat. I'm like, I know. I've been talking to my daughter the whole trip. But even though when you don't have people, if you just have a backpack, the sensors seem to be very sensitive. So it like bings, bings, and you have to press the button for it to stop binging. That is very, very annoying. I find that super annoying. And then we have the door handles or the buttons. And I mean, they work fine, but they don't work a lot of the time. So when they work, you press the button and it releases the door. It's fine. It's kind of gimmicky, but it's fine. But half of the time, it does not work. You have to press it several times, and also while locking the car. It doesn't always lock. I've experienced on the rear door, and then on this driver door, you have to press it like 2 times sometimes. So that is just annoying, that not working. And then we have a complaint that I also had with, well, the other Mach-E's, and that is the steering. So the steering in this is heavier, but it just feels so artificial. It feels overboosted even though it's heavy. It's a real weird sensation because the initial, you know, force you have to use, it feels heavy, but once you get it going, it just feels overboosted and artificial. It feels very video gamey. So this car has really nice handling and is fun to drive. You know, that rear drive bias with more power on the rear motor, even though Ford doesn't tell you how much power it has. It's just let down by this steering. It's fine, but it's just like, if it had better steering, things like this, yeah, would be much better. Then we have the last thing that almost is a deal breaker for me, and this is something I thought wasn't going to be an issue. I thought this was going to be better than the long range and the all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive motor versions. and that is the ride. So this has Magna Ride, and from what I've read and seen of reviews, Magna Ride is really, really good. And it is at low speed. This thing has less suspension travel and is kind of more sporty than the other versions of this car. But at low speed, yes, it is comfortable. So over a speed bump like this, it feels soft and compliant. Even though you can feel it's stiffer, there's less suspension travel. But the problem is, once you get on a bit of broken pavement and you have higher speed, the suspension is not able to cope. It just feels so busy, and in many ways this suspension feels a lot like the Tesla Model Y. It feels like a Tesla Model Y with better dampers, and that does not hide the fact that the architecture or the way this is set up just isn't good for bad roads. I find it like almost hopping over bad pavement and broken pavement. And I know I've been driving my Porsche Taycan the past month, which has 2-chamber air suspension engineered by Porsche, probably one of the best suspension and setup cars in the business, but just highlights the weakness of this car. But I've also been driving the Polestar 2, which I did not experience this with. So yeah, it's not an improvement. Over pavement like this, you're sitting like this. It's only at low speed. I think this is better than the other versions of this car, but at higher speed, I think the long range all-wheel drive like that, look at that, I'm just bumping around. It's not able to cope. Yeah. I do not like the way this car rides. I was really looking forward to test driving this car, and I really, really wanted to like it. I went into this thinking that this is going to be just like the normal Mach-E, just better, faster, better to drive, and just better in every way. And in many ways, it is better. It looks better. I think the exterior styling is better. It has better seats, and it has more performance, so it is faster. But I don't think it necessarily drives better for the roads here in Norway and in Europe, where there are a lot of places with bad and broken pavement. So I'm left kind of like disappointed and confused. If you can get this car with normal suspension, I think it's going to be better with the normal dampers. I don't think that's available here in Norway because on the spec sheet it says Magna Ride is standard, but I think I've seen cars in the US where Magna Ride is an option. So if you're looking to buy one of these, I would highly recommend you guys to go out and test drive it, and preferably test drive one with and without Magna Ride to see, because as you guys can see from the camera, I'm just hopping around, and it's not harsh like a Tesla. Teslas aren't harsh in their suspension, but they just follow every imperfection in the road and just bounce you around, and this is very similar to that. It is better, but this is one of the reasons I don't like the Tesla Model Y as much, because it's so bouncy. And if I'm faulting the Tesla Model Y for that, and that's a big point for me, I'm going to fault this car for it. So I don't know, I'm left kind of disappointed and confused, as I said, guys. So let me know what you think down below. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please drop me a thumbs up down below. And for more car content, as always, please subscribe. See you guys later, and goodbye.